Welcome to City on a Hill Kids Church Online.
I'm Ola.
And I'm Jamie.
And today we're starting a new series on escape.
But you'll find more about that after a time of worship.
You're watching Live 3 Kids.
We belong to you, our God. We'll never be alone because you give us all a great big family, and we are yours forevermore. Lord, we are yours forevermore. We are the children of God. Oh, we are the children of God. Your love has brought us together. Oh, we are the children of God. We belong to you, our God. We'll never be alone because you give us all a great big family, and we are yours forevermore. Lord, we are yours forevermore. We are the children of God. Oh, we are the children of God. Your love has brought us together. Oh, we are the children of God. We are the children of God. Oh, we are the children of God. Your love has brought us together. Oh, we are the children. We are the children. We are the children of God.
We're starting a new series and it's called Escape. So we're doing an escape series. Do you wonder what we mean when we talk about escape? Let's look at the dictionary definition of escape. Well, escape can be used in two ways. It can either be a verb, which is a doing word, or a noun, which is a person, place, thing, or idea. As a verb, it means to break free from any kind of a restriction, anything that is closing you in. The restriction could be a physical place, it could be a situation, but you have broken free. And as a noun, it could be an idea or a thing, like a getaway or a diversion. And we're going to use some Bible accounts, some stories of people who escaped one thing or the other. We've just finished Jonah, where we talked about how Jonah escaped the belly of the large fish, and also how the Ninevites escaped destruction. Today we're going to talk about an account that you can read in the book of Genesis and Exodus. Here we go. Remember Joseph, one of Jacob's sons? He was the one that was sold into slavery by his own brothers. He was sold to people eventually in Egypt, where at some point he was put in prison. Now, in prison, there were some people who found out that he was able to interpret dreams. And then Pharaoh had a dream that was so disturbing, and one of these people who were in prison and had been released told Pharaoh about Joseph. Now, Pharaoh's dream was rather disturbing. Now, Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dream, and this is what the dream meant, that there were going to be 7 years of bumper harvests, lots and lots of food, followed by 7 years of a severe famine all over the land. And Joseph gave Pharaoh advice as to what to do. This made Pharaoh make Joseph the prime minister so as to carry out the advice that he had given to Pharaoh. Now, this famine was all over the place, including the land where he originally came from, the land where his brothers and his father was, the land of Canaan. And the brothers had to go to Egypt to buy food. Long story short, all of Joseph's brothers, their wives, their children, and Jacob, Joseph's father, everybody now relocated from Canaan to Egypt. And Joseph put them in the best part, the most fertile part of Egypt. So Jacob's entire family escaped starvation and death from this famine. They were preserved and they continued to multiply long after Jacob, Joseph, and all his brothers had passed away. Right. Jacob was also known as Israel, and all his children, all of them, they were known as Hebrews. I just need to tell you that because I'll be mentioning Israel and Hebrews in the story. They were in Egypt for many years, and then there came a Pharaoh, a king, who didn't know Joseph. And he became a bit frightened. He was afraid, of the Hebrews. And why was that? Because there were so many. And he was scared that they would now become much, much more in number than his people and possibly side with an enemy. So what he decided to do was to reduce the number of the Hebrews. And he did that by having all boy babies killed once they were born. I don't know if that worked because somebody escaped. I'll tell you who that was. And he also made the Hebrews work as slaves. And the thing is that they were so cruel to the Hebrews. And the Hebrews cried out to God. Enter stage, Moses. That was the one that escaped. Moses was the one who escaped. It was during his time that there were 10 plagues visited upon Egypt. Bear in mind, these plagues didn't touch the Hebrews where they were. They were in that fertile place, that fertile land. Oh, by the way, that land was called Goshen. Anyway, the 10th plague was the most spectacular one. Reason being that the Hebrews were asked to make a lamb that had no blemishes, had no spots. They were supposed to make that lamb available. And the blood from that lamb, which was in the basin at the front door of their houses, they were to use hyssop, which is a bush, dip it in that blood and use that to paint the doorposts and the lintel of their house. So all the Hebrew people were given this instruction. And they did it. Now, the angel of death was supposed to pass over, and he did. He passed over, and what happened is that when he saw where that blood was on the doorpost and the lintel, he just passed over those houses and went to the houses that didn't have that blood, and the firstborn of every household, every family, and every animal died. Oh my goodness. There was wailing and there was crying in Egypt. And the Pharaoh, the king, he didn't escape. His first son died too. The heir to the throne. Oh my goodness. That was a mighty escape. Because in Goshen, it was silent. It was quiet. No wailing, nothing. All the firstborns were intact. So, you see, in this story, we see a few escapes. We see Moses that escaped being one of the babies being killed by Pharaoh. We see the Hebrews, Jacob's entire family, escaping famine and hunger. And we also see the Hebrews escaping the destruction of their firstborns. And that's the story of escape here. And that's the end of the story.
Hey guys, how are you? So today, one of our great rescues that we heard about was when God rescued his people from famine. Joseph's brothers were able to go to Egypt and fill their sacks with corn. And so I have these sacks filled with popcorn because I thought this would combine thinking about our story with a fun summer holiday activity. Are you having anybody around, maybe for a movie afternoon? You could make everybody their own personalised popcorn sack. So, to make one of these, to help us remember that great rescue, you need a piece of A4, and it can be scrap, that's fine. You can see I've got an old colouring sheet here. Start with the scrap side facing upwards, and we're going to fold each side in so that there's a bit of an overlap. So it's about 1/3 on each side, but a little bit more so that there's an overlap. And we're going to glue down that, to make a tube, and this is the basis of our bag. Now, you can use glue or you could use sellotape down the joint. I think glue gives a nicer finish than having tape all over the bag. So then you'll have a tube like this. Next, we're going to fold up the bottom about 1/3. Doesn't need to be too precise. All my bags come out slightly different. I make these a lot. I make them to be party bags, for example, for birthday parties. So then unfold that, so it's just a fold, and now take each corner and fold up in a triangle to that line that you have just made. So I'm folding on one side and then on the other side, so it looks like this. Now we'll just turn it over and fold those back the other way, so it's a really good crease. So there we are, one side and then the other side. There we go. Right, we'll turn it back over so we've got the joined side facing up again. We're going to lift up along the first fold that we made, and then we're just going to push in each side so that the bag opens up, and along those creases we made, it should fold nicely down like this. It doesn't make a perfect square. There's a little gap at each side, that's fine, but it looks a bit like this. This is going to be the bottom of your bag. What you're going to do is fold each of these things that are nearly triangles in, and again, what we need is an overlap because you're going to stick this to make the bottom of your bag. So fold each side in, and then again, put a bit of glue and stick it on. Now, if you need your bag to be really strong, again, you could put a row of sellotape, a strip of sellotape right along here, and that will strengthen it. But if it's for something like popcorn, it's very light. It doesn't actually need to be that strong, and this will be completely fine. Good. Next thing we're going to do is make the edges of our bag, the sides of our bag. And for this, we're just going to fold in each side kind of along this line here. So just where this line would come down at the edge of the base. So you fold it and then fold it back the other way again, so we're making a nice crease, and then we'll do it on the other side. Fold it over one way and then fold it back the other way. Now, before we finally open it up and make it into a bag, you might want to do some decorating while it's still flat. So if you want to decorate it, remember these bits are going to become the sides and this bit is going to become the bottom. So it's just this central square that you might want to decorate on. And I'm just writing the names of people who I would like to have around for a nice summer party, maybe a movie. But you could do any decoration you want. And then all we have to do is open up our bag. Oops. Put your hand in and it should, you can just poke out each corner. The creases are there already, so it should open nicely. And there we have it, a bag ready to fill up with any goodies that you would like to share. Now, if you would like to make a handle, that's easy to do. You can just take another piece of A4 and cut a strip off and stick it at each side at the top. But if you are doing something like popcorn, you want to be able to get your hand in and out. Actually, a handle is a bit in the way, so I quite like them just like this. And so here we have them, lots of paper sacks ready to fill with corn to remind us of God's great rescue and to give us all a fun summer holiday time together. Well, I hope you enjoy doing this craft. Hope you have some fun time with your friends this summer. And I will be back next week with another craft. Bye for now.
You know what?
What?
I've discovered that when you have a word like escape, as in this case, you can find out the meaning of that word through a Bible story.
Yes, like in today's story, Joseph's dad, Jacob, and all his brothers with their families escaping famine and starvation.
And when Moses escaped being destroyed from the then Pharaoh, who asked for all of the boy babies to be thrown into the river Nile.
Today we also learned how the Hebrews escaped losing their firstborns when the angel of death was passing over Egypt.
There were a lot of things packed in today's story.
And they can all be found in the book of Genesis and Exodus.
You know, when we were going through this story, I saw another escape.
Really? What was that?
It was Joseph escaping prison because he had a gift in interpreting dreams.
Oh, yes. That was a mighty escape. That was a case of prisoner to Prime Minister. Do you guys think you can find any other escapes in this story? That's it for this week.
Till next time,
Bye.
bye.